Hello everyone, this is my lecture on immunization. Here I will discuss about immunization, difference between immunization and vaccination, and also about the spots which are related to immunization. So let's take the difference between immunization and vaccination. So first, what is immunization? Immunization is a procedure in which immunobiological substances are administered to strengthen the defense or the immune mechanism as to protect the individual against the disease. Now, immunization, you know that it is a process of producing immunity in the host, and this can be done by two ways or two methods: active method and passive method. Now, active method or active immunization, it requires administration of antigen, which is commonly known as vaccines, in various forms, which can be killed vaccine, live attenuated vaccine. The body responds to this antigen and develops antigenic specific humoral or cellular immunity after a variable period of time of administering the antigen. And this immunity that is produced, it stays for a long time. And what is passive method or passive immunization? Passive immunization includes administration of preformed antibodies, which are commonly known as immunoglobulins, to the individual. Now, what is vaccination then? Now, vaccination is a process of administering killed or weakened infectious organism or their parts or their products to a healthy person with the intent of conferring immunity against the pathogen to prevent the disease. Now coming to the spots which are related to immunization. The spots related to immunization include vaccines, the diluents which are used for reconstitution of the vaccines, cold chain equipments, and also the equipments which are used for administration of vaccines. So our first immunization spot are the vaccines. Now, vaccines are active immunizing agents. They are immunobiological substances which produce a specific protection against a given disease. They stimulate the active production of protective antibody and other immune mechanisms. Now, the vaccine types. Now, vaccines may be prepared from live modified organisms, inactivated or killed organisms, extracted cellular fractions, toxoids, or combination of these. The main vaccine types are: the first is the live attenuated vaccines, second killed vaccines, third subunit vaccines. Now these subunit vaccines may be of different types depending on the molecular composition of the purified antigen used to prepare the vaccine and on the techniques applied to obtain the final material used as a vaccine. Now the different types of subunit vaccines are toxoids, protein vaccines, recombinant protein vaccines, polysaccharide based vaccines, and conjugated vaccines. And the fourth type is the combinations. Combinations means where two or more vaccines, they are combined together to make the vaccine. So first, the live vaccines. The live vaccines are so called because the organisms, that is the antigen which is used in the preparation of the vaccine, are living but they are attenuated. Now what do you mean by attenuation? Attenuation is a method of weakening the infectivity of pathogen by repeated cultures or any other technique so that pathogen can no longer produce disease, but still it stimulates a strong immune response. That means they are made to retain the antigenicity but they lose their pathogenicity. Usually the live vaccines, they are given in single dose. Exception is the oral polio vaccine. These live vaccines, they are safe, effective, more potent with long-lasting immunity, and they require single dose when compared to killed vaccines. Now coming to the killed vaccines. The killed vaccines, in these vaccines, the organisms, they are inactivated or killed by heat or chemicals like phenol, beta-propiolactone, etc. These microorganisms, they cannot replicate at all. Therefore, immunity which is provided by these vaccines is short-lived, and it requires multiple doses. Usually they are given in multiple doses in the primary course, that is 2 to 3 doses are given. This is followed by booster dose subsequently. And immunity lasts shorter than the live vaccines. Then the third are the toxoids. Now these are made from bacteria that secrete toxins or harmful chemicals in the process of pathogenesis for causing illness. These toxins, they are inactivated by chemicals or they are detoxified and they are used in the production of toxoids. Example of this is the diphtheria toxoid and tetanus toxoid. Now the second type of subunit vaccine, the protein vaccines. Now protein vaccines are prepared from single or a combination of proteins from a pathogen which is used to stimulate a protective immune response against that particular organism. Example of this type of vaccine is pertussis vaccine, and one of the most widely used subunit protein vaccine is the influenza vaccine, which is composed of heme agglutinin and neuraminidase purified from the inactivated influenza virus. Now third type of subunit vaccine is the recombinant protein vaccines. Now recombinant protein vaccines are produced by genetic modification in which DNA sequences are introduced by plasmids or viral vectors into a microorganism or cell line. The introduced DNA translates into antigens of the pathogen such as hepatitis B surface antigen contained in hepatitis B vaccine. So the example of this recombinant protein vaccine is the hepatitis B vaccine. Now the polysaccharide vaccines. The polysaccharide vaccines are a unique type of inactivated subunit vaccine composed of long chains of sugar molecules that make up the surface capsule of certain bacteria. Now the immune system or the immune response to a pure polysaccharide vaccine is typically T cell independent, which means that these vaccines are able to stimulate B cells without the assistance of T helper cells. So they are typically T cell independent. Pure polysaccharide vaccines are available for pneumococcal disease, meningococcal disease, Salmonella typhi, and also for Haemophilus influenzae type B, that is Hib. Now coming to the conjugate vaccines. Now as discussed earlier, the T cell independent antigens, that is the polysaccharide vaccines, they are not consistently immunogenic in children younger than 2 years of age. Young children do not respond consistently to polysaccharide antigens, probably because of immaturity of the immune system. But in the late 1980s, it was discovered that this problem could be overcome through a process called conjugation, in which the polysaccharide is chemically combined with a protein molecule. Now this conjugation changes the immune response from T cell independent to T cell dependent, leading to increased immunogenicity in infants and antibody booster response to multiple doses of vaccines. Now the first conjugated polysaccharide vaccine was H. influenzae B vaccine. Later in 2000, a conjugate vaccine for pneumococcal disease was licensed, and in 2005 a meningococcal conjugate vaccine was licensed. And now lastly, the combined vaccines. If more than one kind of immunizing agent is included in the vaccine, it is called a mixed or combined vaccine. Now what is the aim of these combined vaccines? The aim is to simplify the administration, reduce the cost, minimize the number of contacts of the patient with the health system, reduce the storage cost, improve timelines of vaccination, and facilitate the addition of new vaccines into immunization program. You can see the examples of combined vaccines are DPT, that is diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus vaccine, MMR, that is measles, mumps and rubella, DPT, hepatitis B and Hib. This is also known as pentavalent vaccine or EZ5. Then there are some other examples like EZ4 vaccine, DT vaccine, hepatitis A and hepatitis B combined, hepatitis A combined with typhoid, etc. etc. Now taking the vaccines one by one, the first vaccine is BCG vaccine, that is Bacillus calmette-guerin. First, the type of the vaccine. This is a live freeze-dried bacterial vaccine. Freeze-dried means it comes in a powder form and it requires a diluent for its reconstitution. The diluent for BCG is normal saline. The dose for the vaccine is 0.05 ml for less than 1 month and 0.1 ml for age 1 month and above. Now coming to the schedule, it should be given at birth. If not given at birth, then it should be given within 12 months. That is, maximum age is till 1 year of age. After that, it is not required. The route is strictly intradermal. The vaccine should be given intradermally on the left upper arm, just above the insertion of the deltoid. Now, what is the normal reaction after giving the vaccine? After 2 to 3 weeks of correct intradermal injection, a papule develops which gradually grows in size to 4 to 8 millimeter in diameter. After 5 weeks, the papule subsides, or it may break down into a shallow ulcer. Usually, this is covered with a crust. Within 6 to 12 weeks, healing occurs, leaving a tiny permanent scar which is around 4 to 8 millimeter in diameter. Now coming to the adverse reactions of this vaccine. Adverse reactions include prolonged ulceration, local abscess, axillary lymphadenitis, osteomyelitis, or there may be disseminated BCG infection and death. This is rare because it may occur only in immunocompromised persons. The contraindications to the vaccine are generalized eczema, infective dermatosis, pregnancy, states of reduced immunity, that is immunodeficiency, such as symptomatic HIV infection, and malignancy like leukemia, lymphoma, etc. The BCG vaccine should be stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade, and its protective value is 15 to 20 years, and it is mainly for the severe forms of childhood tuberculosis. It protects from severe forms of childhood tuberculosis like the miliary tuberculosis and tubercular meningitis, and the protective value is up to 80%. Special precautions regarding BCG: the reconstituted vaccine should be used within 3 to 4 hours of reconstitution, and the leftover should be discarded. The vaccine should be protected from direct exposure to the sunlight. Now here you can see how the intradermal injection is given. So here the picture shows the BCG vaccine being injected intradermally. You can see the vaccine through the skin. Now this is OPV, or oral polio vaccine. It is live attenuated viral vaccine. It comes in a liquid form. It is given as 4 primary doses. The dose which is given at birth is called 0 dose because this dose is not counted. It is only given in the institutional deliveries. Then it is given at 6 weeks, 10 weeks and 14 weeks. So these are the 4 primary doses: at birth, 6 weeks, 10 weeks and 14 weeks. Then one dose is given at 16 to 24 months. This is known as the OPV booster dose, and it is also given in all pulse polio and national immunization days regardless of previous doses. The dose is 2 drops, 2 boon zindagi ke. Route is oral and site is by mouth. And how it is given to the child, how it is delivered to the child's neck is tilted back gently. The cheeks are gently squeezed to make the child open the mouth, or else the nose may be pinched. 2 drops are allowed to fall from the dropper onto the tongue of the child. This is how it is given. Adverse reactions are almost nil. Only one adverse reaction has been reported, that is VAP, VAPP, that is vaccine associated paralytic polio, and that is also very rare. It is found in 2 cases in 1 million, and that is also due to type 3 virus. Contraindications for oral polio vaccines include immunocompromised states like symptomatic HIV infection. If the case is symptomatic HIV infection, then you may give IPV, that is injectable polio. Now, this oral polio vaccine requires stringent storing conditions. So it is stored at minus 20 degrees centigrade in deep freezer. And during immunization sessions, one has to maintain at least 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. And it should be kept on ice pack. The protective efficacy of oral polio vaccine is 70 to 80% and duration is lifelong. Special precautions regarding oral polio vaccine: hot milk should be withheld for half an hour. Cold chain should be strictly maintained, and you have to monitor the potency by the vaccine vial monitor. This is the vaccine vial monitor, or VVM. Now, what is this vaccine vial monitor? It is a label which is stick on the vial, vaccine vial, and this is made up of temperature sensitive material. When the vaccine vial is subjected to higher temperatures, it starts changing color. There are 4 stages in the VVM. You can see the first is 2 stages, they are the usable stages, and the third and fourth stage, they are the unusable stages. So in the first 2 stages, the inner square is lighter than the outer circle. You can see there is a circle which is darker in color and square which is white or lighter in color. So if the inner square is lighter than the outer circle and if the expiry date has not passed, use the vaccine. In the third stage, you can see the color of the inner square matches that of the outer circle. Do not use the vaccine. And if in the fourth stage, if the color of the inner square is darker than the outer circle, don't use the vaccine. So first 2 stages, you can use the vaccine. In the third and fourth stage, do not use the vaccine. Now this is inactivated polio vaccine, that is IPV. It is a killed virus vaccine and the virus is inactivated by formalin. Schedule, regarding schedule, it is given as 2 fractional IPV doses, that is called as FIPV of 0.1 ml intradermally. It is given at upper arm opposite to BCG. That is BCG is given in the left upper arm. So this is given in the right upper arm. And when it is given at 6 weeks and 14 weeks. The 2 fractional doses, they provide higher immune response than a single dose of IPV given at 14 weeks earlier. So when IPV was introduced into the national immunization schedule, only a single dose was provided at 14 weeks. But now it has been converted to 2 fractional IPV doses. Now this is the rotavirus vaccine. Rotavirus vaccine is a live attenuated liquid preparation and it is an oral preparation. It is given in 3 doses as 6, 10 and 14 weeks. The dose is 5 drops and the route is oral. It is stored at -20 degrees centigrade up to district level and 2 to 8 degrees centigrade at sub-district level. And the protective efficacy of this vaccine is 54 to 60%. Special precautions regarding rotavirus is that rotavirus vaccine should be given up to 1 year only. Because this rotavirus vaccine is a vaccine which is used to protect against rotavirus infections. And these viruses are the leading cause of severe diarrhea among young children. So these vaccines, they prevent 15 to 34% of severe diarrhea in the developing world and decrease the risk of death among young children due to diarrhea. Now this is the DPT vaccine, that is diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus. It is a plain, absorbed and mixed vaccine, or you can say combined vaccine. It is a triple antigen, that is it contains triple antigen, that is diphtheria and tetanus. They are toxoids and pertussis is the killed vaccine. Now the schedule for diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, it is given at 6 weeks, 10 weeks and 14 weeks as pentavalent vaccine. Now it is not given alone as DPT, it is given as pentavalent vaccine where 5 vaccines are combined together. That we will take later on. Now it is given at 6, 10 and 14 weeks as pentavalent vaccine. First booster is given at 16 to 24 months and second booster is given at 5 to 6 years. The dose is 0.5 ml, route is intramuscular and site where it is given at the anterolateral aspect of the mid thigh. Coming to the adverse reactions due to DPT, the adverse reactions include pain, redness and fever, which is entirely due to the pertussis component. Neurological complications like convulsions are very rare. Contraindications to DPT is local or generalized reaction to a previous dose or history of convulsions to the child are there. These are the contraindications. The DPT is stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. The protective efficacy for diphtheria is 90%, for pertussis it is 80% and for tetanus it is 90 to 95%. Special precautions regarding DPT vaccine is that you should never freeze the vaccine. Never freeze the vaccine. All the T series vaccine, whether it is DPT or it is TT or it is TD, never freeze the vaccine. Give paracetamol prophylactically because there is fever after giving the DPT vaccine. So give paracetamol and cold sponging is also advised. Now coming to shake test. Now this is a test which is designed to determine whether adsorbed vaccines have been affected by freezing. As I have already told you that DPT, DT, TT, with all the T series vaccines, they should never be freezed. Now if they are freezed, so how to determine that if an adsorbed vaccine has been frozen any time in the past? So this test is only valid for adsorbed vaccines, that is for DPT, DT, TT and hepatitis B. Now what is this test and how to perform the test? First take the suspected freeze damage vial, then take another vial of the same vaccine from the same batch and the same manufacturer and label it as control vial. Now deliberately freeze the control and then thaw it at room temperature. Shake both the vials vigorously. Place both of them on a flat surface side by side against a source of light. Now you observe and compare the sedimentation rate in both the bottles. If the test vial sediments lower than the frozen vial, then use the vaccine. But if the sedimentation is similar in both the vials or the test vial sediments faster than the frozen vial, then the vaccine is damaged. You discard it. One tip is there to remember the shake test, that is haste makes waste. That means faster sedimentation indicates damage. So discard the vial. Now this is tetanus toxoid vaccine. The type of the vaccine, it is a toxoid, you all know. The schedule, it is given as pentavalent vaccine because it is there in the pentavalent vaccine. So it is given at 16 and 14 weeks. And in older children also it is given at 10 years and 16 years. Earlier it was given in pregnancy also. 2 doses were given, but now this is not given. TT is not given in pregnant women. Instead, TD is given. That I'll tell you later on. The dose of tetanus toxoid is 0.5 ml. Route is intramuscular in the deltoid. It should not be given in the gluteal region. And rest of the features, the adverse effects, the contraindications, the storage temperature, they all are similar to the DPT vaccine. This is the TD vaccine. TD means tetanus and diphtheria combined vaccine. So it is a combined vaccine. You see here that T is capital and D is small. That means the contents in this, it contains usual dose of tetanus toxoid and only 2 units of diphtheria toxoids. That is why D is small. Now indication for this vaccine, it can be given to children aged above 7 years of age requiring immunization against diphtheria and tetanus only, in whom pertussis is contraindicated. And now this is also being given in pregnant females. First dose is given as early as pregnancy is detected and second dose after 1 month. And if female conceives within 3 years of previous immunization, then only 1 booster is required and the dose is 0.5 ml. It is given intramuscular in the upper arm just above the insertion of the deltoid. It should be given, not in the gluteal region. Now this is the recombinant DNA hepatitis B vaccine. It is a killed vaccine. It comes as in the monovalent form as well as combined with other vaccines like the pentavalent vaccine. It is there in the pentavalent vaccine. Schedule, it is given at birth, then it is given at 6 weeks, 10 weeks and 14 weeks. So total 4 doses are given. At birth, the birth dose for all institutional deliveries should be given preferably within 24 hours or as early as possible. The dose is 0.5 ml in children less than 10 years and it is 1 ml in children above 10 years. It is given by intramuscular route. In adults, it is given in the deltoid area and in children, it is given in the anterolateral aspect of the thigh. It is stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade and its protective efficacy is more than 95%. One thing you should note that in case of surface antigen positive mothers for hepatitis B, the birth dose plus immunoglobulin are given within 12 hours. And there is a different schedule also, schedule for children who had not received during the first year, who has not received hepatitis B vaccine during the first year, and the adolescents and adults. The schedule is 0, 1 and 6. That is, first dose is given at an elected date. Then the second dose 1 month later, and third dose after 6 months. So this is the other schedule for adolescents and children who had not received the vaccine during the first year. This is measles vaccine. It is live attenuated freeze-dried vaccine. Now freeze-dried vaccine needs a diluent. So the diluent for measles is sterile distilled water. What is the schedule of this vaccine? Measles vaccine, the first dose is given on completion of 9 months of age. But during an epidemic, it can be given at 6 months of age also, but not to be counted and should be repeated at the usual age of 9 months. The second dose is given at 16 to 24 months as MMR, that is measles, mumps, rubella. The dose for measles is 0.5 ml, route is subcutaneous, and site is right upper arm, that is opposite to the arm where BCG is given. Side effects of this vaccine: fever and rash may occur after 5 to 7 days of vaccination, and these may last for 1 to 3 days. Contraindications are immunocompromised host. If the host is on steroids or taking some medication which can lower the immunity, or having malignancy, then this measles vaccine should not be given. The protective efficacy and duration is about 90 to 95%. The vaccine can be stored for a long term, that is example at PHC at -15 to -20 degrees centigrade in the deep freezer. The vaccine may be stored between 2 degrees centigrade and 8 degrees centigrade for a few weeks at the place of use, such as the subcenter. The diluent should be stored at +2 to +8 degrees centigrade. And the reconstituted vaccines should be kept on ice and used within 1 hour. But there is a question that why should the reconstituted measles vaccine not be used after 4 hours of opening? The vaccine after reconstitution is vulnerable to contamination, which can lead to toxic shock syndrome in the recipient. So this should be used within 3 to 4 hours of its reconstitution. This is measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. This is also a live attenuated vaccine, and it contains 3 antigens: measles, mumps and rubella. It also needs a diluent for its reconstitution, which is distilled water. Route of administration is subcutaneous and dose is 0.5 ml. And it is given at 16 to 24 months along with the DPT booster. Site is right upper arm. It is given in the right upper arm. Side effects are mild fever and rash, which begins between days 6 and 14 following vaccination. Rarely parotid and other salivary glands enlargement may be there. And contraindications for MMR vaccines are immunocompromised patients, patients on steroid treatment, renal impairment, pregnancy, etc. Storage is similar to measles vaccine, and one thing should be noted that the reconstituted vaccine should be kept on ice and used within 1 hour. Protective efficacy is 95%. Now this is the pentavalent vaccine. It contains 5 antigens: diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B and Haemophilus influenzae type B, that is Hib. The pentavalent vaccine is available in liquid form. Commonly it is termed as liquid pentavalent vaccine. The efficacy of diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B, I have already told you. Efficacy of Hib, HIB, that is 95%. It is given in 3 doses at 6 weeks, 10 weeks and 14 weeks. The dose is 0.5 ml. Route is intramuscular in the anterolateral aspect of the thigh. Other things, that is storage, contraindication, adverse events, they are similar to the DPT vaccine that I have already discussed. This is pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. Now 2 types of vaccines are available: polysaccharide vaccines, which provide short duration of protection, and polysaccharide protein conjugate vaccines with better herd immunity and increased immunogenicity in children less than 2 years. So the one which we are discussing is the pneumococcal conjugate type of vaccine. Now this is a polyvalent polysaccharide conjugate vaccine. It contains 13 serotypes are there in the vaccine. It can be stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade, but it should not be frozen. The age of administration of this vaccine is 6 and 14 weeks. 2 doses are given, one at 6 weeks, other at 14 weeks, and one booster is given at 9 months. The route is intramuscular, and it is given in the anterolateral aspect of the thigh. The dose of the vaccine is 0.5 ml and the immunity develops after 7 days of the last dose of the vaccine. The efficacy of this vaccine is 75%. Adverse reactions include reduced appetite, irritability and fever, and contraindications are previous history of hypersensitivity. This is the only contraindication. Now this chart is showing the national immunization schedule for infants and children. Now how these vaccines are given from birth till 16 years. At birth we give BCG, OPV 0 dose, hepatitis B birth dose. At 6 weeks we give BCG if it is not given at birth, pentavalent first dose, OPV first dose, rotavirus vaccine first dose, fractional IPV first dose, pneumococcal conjugate vaccine first dose. At 10 weeks we give pentavalent second dose, OPV second dose and rotavirus vaccine second dose. At 14 weeks we give the third dose of pentavalent, OPV, rotavirus, fractional IPV second dose, pneumococcal conjugate vaccine second dose. At 9 months we give measles, Japanese encephalitis first dose. This is given only in the endemic areas. PCV booster, that is pneumococcal vaccine booster, and vitamin A first dose is given. Vitamin A first dose is given at 9 months and it is 1 lakh international unit. After that vitamin A is given every 6 months till 5 years of age. Then at 16 to 24 months we give measles second dose as MMR, Japanese encephalitis second, again in the endemic areas only, OPV booster, DPT booster first and Hib booster. If you can give either DPT booster and Hib booster, or you can give quadrivalent, because quadrivalent is a combined vaccine which contains DPT and Hib together. So either you give DPT booster plus Hib booster or you give quadrivalent. At 5 to 6 years you give DPT second booster, and then at 10 years and 16 years you give TT booster. This chart is showing the national immunization schedule for pregnant females. Now for pregnant females, TD first dose is given as early as pregnancy is detected, and TD second dose after 4 weeks or 1 month, and TD booster if females conceive within 3 years of previous immunization. So instead of TT now it is TD, tetanus and diphtheria.